Wednesday, November 24th, 2021. I have not I've been a mother for the last 22 years. So for me, evenings were spent staying with the children and then putting them to bed. When Tia Frio came around, if they weren't with me, then there would be evenings out, unless it was an agreed upon outing for some other reason. There were times where Tia Frio was like, I have somebody who wants to buy a house or sell a house, or they have a job for me. I need to go meet. I need you to come with me. So I followed. But for the most part, before 2010, it's now 2021. There was I don't know when people go out socially. I don't know when they meet. I've never had a group of friends. I went to elementary school and junior and high school, but there was no long-lasting relationships in the situation I was within. And so therefore it was like losing avenues and routes in order to make inroads for later in life and the correct channels. Anyway, tonight is the night before Thanksgiving. And I did my walk earlier. Interesting, with my green and black umbrella. There was an NYPD officer, scared me a little, because they don't normally stand on the corner by 7-Eleven. One night there was an officer on a horse, and a man yelling at the corner, so I crossed the street so I didn't have to walk past the busy officer on horseback. Tonight there was just a regular foot patrolman, but he turned his back to me, which made me a little bit more at ease, and then he moved over to the side. But it was a weird event, because normally they're not on that corner. They have a camera across the street. And then later I went for my pink umbrella walk, and as I'm walking with the pink umbrella, I see on one side of the street by Hatfields, all of the furniture's been removed from Hatfields and is in some kind of outdoor, what usually they have a seating area that I have to walk between. But this is with my Victorian Cross pink ribbon, my pink umbrella, the smaller one. So that's when I noticed that. And then as I continued and I'm looking, wondering why all their furniture's outside, I see this velvet rope. And I'm like, that's odd. Normally I don't see it there, and I walk the avenue a lot. Didn't think much of it. And then all of a sudden, as I rounded the bend and I came back, between the time when I walked on the one side of the street past Hatfields and up to French Workshop and I looped back around, there started to be sounds of I want to say it's like an ancient wood instrument that they would play. I've seen it on some of the, maybe National Geographic's had it. I just can't remember. I don't know if maybe it's more Andes Mountain. I don't believe they played in the Himalayan mountain. But I'm pretty sure it's the Andes Mountain. But again, my memory gets a little fuzzy with exact placement. But I hear this sound, and then I'm walking past Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street's another one. They've got a long line, and they've got this rope outside. And then it dawns on me, I'm like, oh right, it's the night before Thanksgiving. I guess the youngins, they go out. It's not something that really hits home with me, because I never knew. I mean, I had other responsibilities. But then, now as I'm walking past 7-Eleven, I see the gentleman playing this. It almost looks like the kids in New York City and in Suffolk County, where my kids were, they were given this thing called a recorder, RECHORDER, but it was a plastic, like a cheap plastic flute almost, but just to get finger placement, and play something Alex used to toot on it. It was like a whistle, safety whistle like no other, because he was out of tune. But this, when they're made out of wood, they have a much cleaner sound, less dog whistle like. Alex used to play it, and I was like, okay, could you close your door on that? But he was so excited about the recorder. I think I was really excited when it was my turn too. Anyway, so, but when I went past the corner by 7-Eleven, there was a table set out, like a vendor almost, selling stuff. Again, I don't know who gives these permissions out, or if these are just oversteps and overreached by other community members, and if this is a sign of something symbolically. I don't know if this is like a boundary test. I mean, there's not supposed to be street vendors in Bayside that I'm aware of, although I've caught COVID testers out there, and I've a couple of others, but I mean, again, I don't, how many do you have to mention? I don't know who sends them. I don't know who sparks the whatever. I mean, it seems docile and innocent enough, but I know, like, it feels like everything at this point is just scratching the surface of an overreach, of multi factors trying to piss one another off in some whatever. I just don't know who's involved and why. I mean, it didn't bother me. I found the music very pleasant, actually. However, it's the allowance of it being not mentioned that then becomes a problem. If it's a type of music that I'm not friendly with, which that's happened as well. They sent some band one night. It was, I was like, this is not even, it was not an appreciative sound, at all. But again, I don't know community wise and community leader wise who sets this stuff up, if it's done from afar with a couple of phone calls, or is there somebody local, because I don't see anybody local, and I haven't been introduced to somebody who keeps the community calendar. So I'm not quite sure. Let's think about this. So that's just noteworthy. And then I know that when Tiafrio arrived, he used to go down somewhere in Holbrook I had never heard of. That's when Brad and Ange lived over in Holbrook. I believe a Sulaco. There's some bar over there that he used to go meet people at. But that was like, I don't know, just dragging me out and through, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't. That was right off of Vets Memorial Highway when I lived in Ronkonkoma. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. And again, it's the day before Thanksgiving.